in game number 3, Miff. And look, the Scarabs, they got off to such a good start in game 2, probably feeling like they had an opportunity to win that game. Something to be said for resiliency that the Oni Warriors showed us in our second game. They bring a Chronos, Miff, here into game 3, the Oni Warriors do. Des talked about double stacking, maybe getting power on earlier, things like that. It's been a argued over pick maybe a bit here this weekend. When you got 3 games to play with, maybe you feel like you got something here for Dardes.
I think Scarabs take this one too.
Please don't. That's not your job.
Who do you think has had the best showing on Chronos so far this week?
I mean, who's played it? Zeros and Snoopy?
That's right.
Between the two, Zeros.
All right. And here's the thing about Zeros is Chronos. Combined less than 50,000 damage the entire week. You're not locking in this god.
Okay, but you got to put in context how many games that is.
Like a lot.
50,000 damage, but he's played it once.
He's played it like 4 times,
sure,
maybe 5.
There you go. So
you're not locking it in for the damage output.
Yep.
You're locking it in for what it brings to your siege. You're locking it in for how it affects your fire giant damage, your gold fury damage, your ability to burn these objectives, maybe even the mental stack of, hey, this guy does scale incredibly hard. I think that Dardes, for the most part, when you talk to him and when you watch him play, loves to get incredibly active. He's an aggressive player through mid. I'm not certain that the Chronos necessarily fits that style.
But might be in a worse spot. Oh my goodness, it's simple. Sanford Soccer. Ooh. That's a chunky tower shot. He just
That's the classic Pele level 2 play.
Off guard. Snoopy and Sam
guys, I'll be back.
Walk at Cuvo Fred, and it's a dream start for the
I'll talk to you through my phone.
And that's what you do when there's a Chronos in mid. You can ignore this guy. Even when he's hitting you with these abilities from max range, the damage output just simply isn't there. He doesn't have the fight just yet. Sure, he's got a little bit of self-peel or even peel for his allies with the stun, but as far as pressure is concerned, if the Solar Scarabs can keep playing there, it's just going to look good. And give it 15 minutes, Dardes will one-shot you. Until then, not so much.
Until then, you can fight in mid. Nika gets the solo. He calls out Scary and slams the phone. It's an early kill now for the Oni Warriors, right when they needed it. After losing one in mid, and Nika on the Bologna is something scary. And what an answer back from the Oni Warriors solo laner.
An emphatic early answer at that. The Solar Scarabs weren't even allowed to celebrate finding first blood before it's answered by the Oni Warriors solo laner. I think you're still okay if you're Scary D. It's not that Breastplate of Valor start that we've seen so often. Instead, down that tower shield tree, gives you a little bit more power. That healing will find a bit of a bonus there as well. Red buff invaded by Snoopy. Just strips that one away in the face of Dardes. I think the Solar Scarabs, they can't shift it up. If Nika is able to keep owning that lane, if he's stealing back camp, stealing blue buff, sure, address him. But I think you can still trust Scary D to hold his own. You just got to keep punishing this Chronos. Play around that lane, run through pressure there. So far, Snoopy's done a good job of leveraging what Sanford Soccer has already accomplished. That red buff invade goes a great way. Just getting the timer important in of itself so that Sanford Soccer can be there for the next rotation of it. I think the Scarabs just got to leave Scary on an island.
I want to talk about Vote a bit on this Danzaburo. We might need to continue talking about it because sprint out. Lots of lockdown here between Cuvo Fred and Neoma. Meditation. Not in this lane. I don't know what it was the heal from Hurrywind. And it was the sprint down that tried to get the Sylvanas away. But a great early rotation to duo here, Miff, from Cuvo Fred. Didn't need the ult, and just those individual little stuns make a massive difference. Sanford Soccer, he's got level 5 and a return kill onto Cuvo Fred. Nothing has been free yet here in game 3. It's been eye for an eye every single time.
Sam is on the warpath right now, just making everything costly. First blood in mid, rotates over, first to 5, and makes use of it. The Oni Warrior is just not capable of matching DPS this Pele is putting out this early in the game. I wonder, had the kill landed on Cuvo Fred, maybe likely that he takes over the 5 there, could have potentially fought back through. Fortunately for the Oni Warriors, it's not just the ultimate they get off of Sam. Also stripping that beads means that it is unlikely that he can get aggressive for the next couple of moments. The Oni Warriors can take a deep breath, breathe a little bit. Because this is a game, I think, maybe more distinctly than any other in this set, where if the Oni Warriors can take it to late game, if it's going to go 40, as every game so far has, 30, 35, 40-ish minutes, your Chronos is going to start putting in work. The Solar Scarabs likely concerned about that timer.
But what you are happy about is the pace that Sanford Soccer has set. It's been a good early first kill in mid, and then a counter gank in duo. Pele, a storied pick for Sam, one that he has played and hard carried on plenty of times throughout his career. And this has got to be one of the biggest. The Solar Scarabs in desperate need of their jungler here in the early goings of this game to show up. Has done so far. The 2-0 start definitely looks good. Now the duo for the Oni Warriors, Myth, I think unique, but also high potential in that lane. Neilma on the Maui, Vote on the Danzaburo, which has been relegated to just a couple of teams here this weekend.
Shot.
Snoopy used the beads. Ultimate was there from Cuvo Fred. Sanford Soccer will dash forward. That is a lot of burst. He one-shot him. Oh my goodness. And the counter gank again pays off for Sanford Soccer. And they need him. 3-0 start for their jungler.
Cuvo Fred just getting accosted by Sam. Just not happy with the pace of this set so far. Sanford Soccer looking to make a statement against his contemporary on the other side. Cuvo Fred, 0-3 as a direct parallel to 3-0 of Sanford Soccer. You're still in an okay position. Naja, not necessarily a god that needs to do all the damage himself. It's the setup potential. It's the ability to just take someone up into the air and allow the rest of your team to rotate through. Even from behind, you still have that.
Whoa, Vote came out of stealth because Neilma has rounded about his way behind Netroid, who's got to use the beads. Hurrywind over towards left, but it's not going to catch anybody by surprise. So 3 kills for Sanford Soccer, all 3 of them onto Cuvo Fred, and a 2-level lead out of the jungle. A lot of the fighting, to your point, Myth, happening over in mid, where Dardes can't say much about it. Just massive burst from Sam, and a 2-level lead. So where does he go to supply that pressure? You can just keep mirroring Cuvo Fred. Maybe send a little over towards Nika. You'd also love to get this Danzaburo behind. Is down 1 level right now, but if Vote and Neilma can start to find an advantage, it's a very scary thought for the Solar Scarabs.
Yeah, Netroid no beads for 2 minutes. If I'm Cuvo Fred, I know the last couple of times he's made the rotation over towards duo hasn't looked so pretty. Red buff confirmed by Nika there. But still a great target. Netroid has got CC immunity in the kit, can use that ultimate to get up into the air, but if Sash hits first and he hasn't responded in kind, Windfire Wheel is confirmed immediately afterward. Gotta play safe the next 100 seconds because the DPS follow-up from Vote, it's already good. Danzaburo has phenomenal burst from kit, so just need to connect that Windfire Wheels. As of now, haven't seen Cuvo Fred show too much presence of mind towards the duo lane.
No.
And with no farm on the left side either, even if he decides to make this gank, if he doesn't hit pay dirt, it would be so costly. But looking at where he's standing, could be on his mind.
Is hovering towards the left side of the map. The Windfire Wheels there. Later in the game, there should be some more burst, and Cuvo Fred indeed is going to make his way to a left side gank, and Hurrywind actually steps forward because wouldn't you guess it, Sanford Soccer's here as well. We're battling in the duo lane, and it's Sam again deleting his target and might get a second. It's Hurrywind who's handed it. Cuvo goes in, but immediately dashes back out. Everything Sam touches turns to dust. And another 2 for the Solar Scarabs.
Sanford Soccer just outpacing Cuvo Fred everywhere on the map for now. Solar Scarabs take their picks and the gold free as well. And the through thread of the entirety of the last 8 minutes is Snoopy's been able to invade red buff. He's been doing whatever he wants. He's been farming neutrals. Sanford Soccer dominating the map. Cuvo Fred outpaced, and Dardes can't do anything about it. He's farming. That's all he's going to do. That's all you picked this for in the early game. This Chronos, he's a ways off from being involved. About one more tier of the second item, a third item afterward, generally Polynomicon. Then the Chronos is essentially a member of the team. Until then, the Oni Warriors have to make do with this 4 versus 5.
Man, Sam has just read so many of these fights so well. Because again, it's been like answers. Cuvo Fred goes in first, but Sanford Soccer has the sense about him where he knows where the fighting's going to be happening. We've seen this plenty of times where ult's traded over in solo. The junglers haven't been there yet, so why not? Vote is now 2 levels down to Netroid.
Good damage.
Yeah, it does trade out some nice damage, but Netroid was uninterested in the fight. Right now, it's just the XP differences. Itemization, the exact same, minus the Devourer's Gauntlet that's fully stacked up for Netroid. You know, I imagine as a jungler, Myth, this is a real brain teaser for Cuvo Fred, where it feels like, okay, I have tried to be active, but it's just constantly been answered. Do I just stop and try to maintain farm? But that then opens up Sam to just free ganks. Awkward spot for this Naja. That might get answered with a gank towards right. Scary D, no mana, but has blue buff and enough health to back up.
Yeah, I think Cuvo Fred is not really going to look for proactive plays anymore. It's more so, hey, my game doesn't look so great. I'll play spoiler to yours. Follow Sam for soccer. Don't give him the 1v1. It's a difficult thing to follow. If you're tailing him in the jungle, he'll take the fight against you, but still have the ability to slow down some of his ganks. Just make sure this Pele is under control. The Oni Warriors realize that their late game is incredibly strong. It's just about getting there. It's about getting that 6-slotted item. What did Adapting say earlier? If the early's going poorly, if you know you scale, all you got to do is fill out those item charts, and then you're in a good position.
Yep.
The Oni Warriors, they got to follow that credo.
Desk was wondering what Dardes would end up building. We'll return to that in a moment. Hurrywin gets pulled back. Dardes does get a stun onto Hurrywin, who's taking a lot of damage. This would be a good opening kill for the Oni Warriors, but Hurrywin lives on. Sam for soccer has found Dardes, who couldn't rewind in time. Though Nika's traded. Sam's got all the damage in the world and helps out Scary D in adding one onto Cuvo Fred. Oni Warriors, they got to realize anything, anywhere Sam for soccer happens to be is not going to feel good. 2-for-1 trade for the Scarabs and a Pyromancer unless Neil can make a miracle steal happen, which he won't.
Man, I couldn't even tell you what killed Dardes there. Dies so quickly. Bees and ultimate
Sam.
still available. I mean, yeah, Sam for soccer is the only one that can do it that quick. Does so once more. 100% kill participation for the Solar Scarabs jungler. And you're right to play through him. Nika's okay. No ultimate for Scary D means there's no way he's actually securing that kill. So instead, just returns a bit of damage. Oni Warriors just got to hold on.
No, Netroid rolls forward, picks up the purple buff. Oh, is he going to get his rocket red? No, Hurrywin won't be able to get out into the middle of that lane. Some defensive utility, or offensive as you'd prefer on a Danzaburo, now gone. Wouldn't put it past Sam for soccer to immediately head over. Now there's a bit of downtime, though. And there's no Pyro, there's no Oni Fury left on the map. And it's in this downtime that Sam has created chaos so far, where the Oni Warriors have maybe assumed there'd be farming going on. Instead, there's been a Pele in just about every lane on the map. Nika picks up a couple of kills, though, here, Myth. I don't think enough to fully counter out the massive Pele that's on the flip side.
He hits hard.
But a Bologna with a kin size is starting to swing a bit here in the solo lane.
Yeah, Scary does not want to take this fight anymore. I mean, wasting all your mana on just resustaining, going to be a bit difficult. Has itemized well to deal with some of the strengths of the Oni Warriors. Triple auto attacker composition, Witchblade in second slot, removing a bit of that attack speed. You'd called for it, Dave. Good game sense. Sam for soccer.
I got great game sense.
He's looking for vote.
Let me tell you, it's just about as good as it gets. Neilmott's got to swing away. Let's see just how much damage this Maui takes. Whole lot of it. Knock up. Another one for Sam for soccer.
He's still
Soccer
going.
6-0. And there's snipes from Netroid as well. Just needs Hurrywin to tank up the tower. Double kill for Sam for soccer 2. 4 + 2 = 6, which you had a second ago. Now we're on 7.
You wanted it so
I
bad.
wanted it so bad. I thought it was still 6. That's so unlucky. But it's 7 for Sam. And my goodness, the Solar Scarabs jungler chose a dramatic time to have his best game and is surging forward with the rest of his team.
And with the Gold Fury on the mend, could even potentially look here as well. Vote 10 seconds on the respawn. Oni Warriors, it's a slow rotation over towards left. I don't think there's any defense to be had. The Solar Scarabs starting to run away with this one, and fast. This is an insane pace they've established for themselves. If the Oni Warriors are trying to keep their mental in it, they could just sit there, and this is their chant right now. It's, we're scaling. We're scaling. We're scaling.
We're scaling.
That's all it is. They don't have anything else going for them
I
for
don't know,
now.
those mouths aren't moving. There's not much chanting going on in there.
Yeah, that's not great. Gotta keep the communication
I'm back.
going.
I'm
That's
back.
right. No, look, the Oni
Scarab is
Warriors,
winning like I predicted.
they're a team that is also, I've talked about the Scarabs and a lot of what they've dealt with this year. The Oni Warriors,
Dude, don't tell me Oni Warriors getting reverse
they
swept.
started their year with an SPL promotional tournament and are now ending their year with a Worlds promotional tournament. I'm sure at some point they'd love to avoid these
This
promotional
is early.
tournaments. And it's winning games like this that'll get you there. Fire Giant begun by the Solar Scarabs. It is dropped, however. Now, interesting build path here, Myth. I mean, Sam obviously very ahead, 7-0-2. Unfortunately for me, not 6-0-2. It's a Crusher into a Brawler's Beat Stick. And then the Mageyes gets the bubble. So not going even further into damage, maybe sensing he's already got enough of it. And now, it'll be easier to complete some of those dives.
Yeah, he's letting his levels do the talking. Doesn't need any more damage from the itemization. Fire Giant, it's burning quick, and Sanford Soccer, he's just a steel wall.
A steel wall that punches back. The Fire Giant's low, but it's reset by the Scarabs. This is an envelopment by the Oni Warriors. Neoma's just going to get hung out to dry here. Sprint gets used. The landfall looks good. Doesn't feel good, though, on the other side of it. That's one for Snoopy. Darda's just going to split push down the mid lane. Vote's going to split push down the duo lane. What are the Oni Warrior, or what are the Solar Scarabs doing, rather? They're going to get a tier 2 tower of their own over on the right side of the map. Not immediately to Fire Giant. Oni Warriors stripping away a lot of the map, where the Scarabs are going to pick up a tier 2.
Yeah, the Warriors have gotten a lot. I mean, map state favoring them technically, considering tier 2 and mid and how valuable it is.
Vote will keep going here.
Solar Scarabs, I don't even think they can do Fire Giant anymore. Vote's got time, farm up in the jungle. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that call. I would have much preferred to see the Solar Scarabs roll the dice on Fire Giant once more. Just tier 2 in the solo. I mean, it's gold, and you've built yourself a pretty decent buffer, but feels like it could have been a bit better.
That was good by the Warriors.
On the other hand, I mean, that's ideal. The only thing that makes that situation any better.
That helped out Vote a lot.
More people survive. Otherwise, that global gold that Dardas establishes for his team is going to go a whole long way. And even clearing out those waves on his own, close up that level lead that Snoopy had established just a bit. Still 2 levels up for the Poseidon. But it does not come without risk incurred. Dardas now, really, if he pushes the wave any further than this, he's not going to get any more farm.
No, you're looking for the Oni Warriors ward coverage. Decent over by the Fury Pit. A couple of those wards now actually timed out. And then the one dead center in mid lane. But depending on where the Solar Scarabs are on the right side of the map, you're not going to have a great idea of where they are. Pyromancer's going to get picked up here. Should be a pretty quiet one for the Solar Scarabs. This feels like vintage Sam, doesn't it? When you think of Sanford Soccer and some of the miracle plays that he's had and some of the Worlds runs that Sam has put together. It's games like this that have allowed his team to have opportunities that otherwise might not have been there. A 7-0-3 Pele with 10 of 10 affected kills. We'll now go back down that damage path some, I assume Arendite just around the corner.
But with all the kills landing in Sanford Soccer's pocket, he is key to the team fight. If Sanford Soccer goes down, whoever kills him...
It's going to take a lot.
It's going to take a lot to knock him down, but whoever does it, and it will eventually happen just by nature of being an assassin, that's 900 gold in the other person's pocket.
You better hope Sam doesn't
go undying.
Goose egg the death column this game.
That's not Sanford. This is the triple-double guy, all right? He's got to be gassing himself out, not dying.
That's true. Yeah, but that's a Thanatos triple-double guy.
He's doing it on everybody. Fenrir, Osiris, Lancelot.
Not Pele. Not this game.
Clearly not.
Not this
Which
game.
is the one-for-one god, by the way. In the late game, Pele is, I'm going to go in like a scalpel, find the precision target, take me, I've done it.
Well, the precision target now is Darda forced into the rewind, but he's going to land right next to Sam, who will dash forward and delete his target. Oh, but Sam is going to get the CC chain and avoids the death. Landfall from Numa gives Vote a kill over. But now it's Hurrywind running away. Nika gets the damage for Hurrywind. A killing spree on one side. Nika drops as Netrioid spins up some damage. Snoopy on a double kill. It's a messy fight over in the mid lane.
Jesus.
The Scarabs happy to take on a 4-for-2.
Man, that was a clutch first ability from the Poseidon. I'm thinking Vote might have had a bit more to say in that team fight if he doesn't get sniped out there. But at least able to take Sanford Soccer off
They
the
could do
map.
first tower, then
Vote heads
gold.
back.
Look at that little down tick right when Sam died.
That's just Vote. And he spent it all immediately. I mean, massive power spike with the Odysseus bow picked up. The Oni Warriors.
Hey, PD
they're still in
Pablo.
it. The
Thank
Solar
you, man.
Scarabs struggling to find that closeout play. Haven't been able to transition towards the Fire Giant. Instead, Gold Fury still feels pretty decent. Tier 1 tower to boot.
Thank you, PD.
Scarabs keep pushing themselves onward. But it feels precarious, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like we're getting very close to some of these major power spikes? Dardes at 17. already starting to get some of that penetration online with the magic focus. We're one level away, unfortunately still one level away, that is, for Neilma getting that second relic. Vote finds a massive shutdown kill on a Sanford Soccer, pushes himself a little bit further ahead as well. And Nika has quietly lined himself up a phenomenal game.
Myth, this might be your closeout play. Solar Scarabs is 5 on the FG. It goes quickly. Oni Warriors.
A Kraken secure. Whoa!
I love it. Immediately
First time?
regroup, go back to the right side. Now give yourself the biggest advantage we've had so far. 2 trebuchets in the base of the Solar Scarabs as well. You can send those whenever you please if you feel like you need some help breaking open this base. This is going to be one of the hardest, you know how junglers usually mirror each other 1v1 in some of these lanes? It's going to be one of the hardest 1v1s I've ever seen mirrored. Sanford Soccer
Fred don't want that.
could just about delete anyone.
Yeah, Fred doesn't even have a great matchup into Pele in general. Doubly so with Magi's.
Yeah,
so
that was a bubble, right?
if anybody's going to line up against this Pele, it's probably going to be either Dardes because he wants the solo farm, or it's going to be Nika because he's got the best odds at actually defending. Solar Scarabs, though, realizing that they're so far ahead with Fire Giant on all 5 as well that really there's no need to go for the 4-1 split. Group up as 5 and you love your odds in that team fight. The Oni Warriors likely won't defend this tier 2 on left either. Instead, I mean, the idea is there and it's clear. It's written on the wall. Farm, 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 everywhere on the map. Dardes is scrounging desperately to tick over to level 20. Everybody on the Oni Warriors fighting tooth and nail to be that one guy who gets to get the wave before the Solar Scarabs show up. Maybe with a significant grouping on left, the Warriors going to reprise a play we had seen a little bit earlier on this game. Split push, grab some towers. They'll go quick with Kronos on the scene.
Yeah, Dardes effectively 2 shots. The remaining health of the tower over on right. Trebuchets do get sent. Solar Scarabs kind of just now regrouping. So Netroid and Hurrywind plus Snoopy over on left. In a hovering of Scary D and Sanford Soccer in the jungle while all of the Oni Warriors by this tier 2 tower. Worthwhile if you can get back and defend your base, but looks like Scary D is enough to shove back the Oni Warriors. You're right though, Myth. I mean, it does feel... Oh, back did get stopped. Scary D actually gallops forward. Neilma back in base. It's a good opening for the Solar Scarabs. You got 4 versus 4, but a handy gold lead here. Cubo Fred sends out a sash. He didn't want it to be there. How accurate is Netroid? Can't see Cubo. Instead, we'll just poke some damage down the boat. And it's the right target. Just needed a little bit more. Big landfall from Neilma. Big ult in from Nika. The Oni Warriors have combined perfectly, but it's put him out of position, and Netroid reminds him why.
Solar Scarab still healthy and resustaining with the help of Hurrywind. Can keep up their
That's a good Kraken.
Split pushing? Are they trying to delay?
I think you're willing to let go of the Phoenix, so Dardes wants to get as much gold
End
as
the game.
Delay?
I mean, they might be able to go into the Titan room if they spot him.
I wonder how far the Oni Warriors are willing
They need to
chase
threaten
him
the
delay
end,
backs
bro,
of the
to
Solar
get him to
Scarabs.
back.
5 versus 3, though. If the Oni Warriors get caught out here, the game is just over. Dardes will work down the right side Phoenix. The teleport should be the end of it.
That was close.
And mid lane Phoenix drops. Dardes now actually being chased down by Scary D. You're talking about desperately scrounging for farm if Dardes has hit level 20. But Scary D's got the right idea here. Gallops forward. Looking for a stun on a Dardes, won't get it. Left side Phoenix down. Dardes might actually get soloed here by Scary D. The Scarabs have played this map wonderfully with their lead. Beads off of Scary, and it feels like a matter of time unless Dardes can make the miracle play. Will not. One last auto. Down goes Dardes. Scarabs, they've got the one-man advantage in 20 seconds on FG.
And with the Phoenix is rather down on mid and left, the Solar Scarabs, it's just about closing it out from here. The Oni Warriors have done a great job.
So cheeky.
Just finding that farm on map. The fact that the tower
It's been okay. Kind of one-sided.
It is right now, considering how poor the game state has been from minute 1. You deserve every bit of credit we can laud upon the Oni Warriors. Solar Scarabs, I think, just run it down. Move to the Fire Giant. Get ready. We're 1 minute out on that respawn. The Oni Warriors likely will not try and put up a defense in neutral territory. But power spikes have been hit. All that time Dardes spends on the right, sure, may have ended in death, but still gains him, I believe, 3 levels throughout that duration. Finish up the Ob Shard as well, so maybe a bit better time returning damage into Scary D if he should find himself in that same situation again. It is narrow, narrow margins that the Solar Scarabs make it out with their lives on the previous Phoenix defense. In a better position for it this time around. And even with enhanced minion waves now in every single lane, this Fire Giant, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion, Dave. The Oni Warriors, it's all about base defense.
Myth, I'm thinking game 3 might just be a foregone conclusion here. The journey of 3 steps that we've talked about appears to have just taken its first for
Not
the
without
Solar Scarabs.
stumbles.
Yeah, right. A slight trip on the one step. One foot in front of the other. We're learning how to do it here for the Solar Scarabs in this best of 5. They're simply so strong. Hurrywind, the same net worth as the richest member of the Oni Warriors, and that's Vote. Wonder if the Oni Warriors have something cooking up here, though. I mean, split pushed effectively on the last couple of instances of the Solar Scarabs getting a Fire Giant.
Uh-oh.
You're going to see just how much damage.
No way they can reverse sweat, man. No way.
Half HP Cuvo Fred.
Catch and release.
That's a calculated play there, though, by Sam. Maybe not knowing exactly where all the Oni Warriors are. I talk about the Oni Warriors having something cooking. They could have been sitting in that jungle waiting for the Pele. Instead, they're on the right side defending their Phoenix. One last big swing here for the Solar Scarabs. There is life from the team that has faced adversity all year long. And now laugh in the face of it here in Game 3. A 7-1-6 from Sanford Soccer's gotten us here. Snoopy's looked great on the Poseidon as well.
Commit, get the fuck in there.
Damage finds its way.
Oh,
3
they should
Phoenixes
have
down,
engaged
only
there, bro.
Warriors backpedal away, and Titan damage soon to follow.
Solar Scarabs have so much time left in this Fire Giant power play.
Never mind.
If they just get into the Titan room, I mean, the burst is there. A Kraken Whirlpool combo from Snoopy doing upwards of 50% of this Titan's HP bar, I'm thinking. So the Oni Warriors, they can't let the Solar Scarabs into the base. They can't let them into the throne room. Not that the Solar Scarabs are fighting all that hard for it either. They want to deal with these birds on respawn.
But look, we've seen the 3-man pull into the 3-man Eagles rally, and even that wasn't enough. It's got to be onto the right targets now, and the damage has got to follow. Double root from Hurrywind. A pull here makes all the difference as well. Mid lane Phoenix respawns, but it's an afterthought for the Solar Scarabs. Scaredy tanks up the damage nicely. Oni Warriors.
Come on, Scarabs, surely.
All bunched up.
It's a good
Go
ult.
button press. Nika jumps in, but he's lost all of his health in the meantime. Same with Nika. Where does Vote go, though? The rocket out and away. Half HP on all of the Oni Warriors.
End the game now, guys.
Not yet been touched. There's still a
Burning.
Kraken awaiting. The Kraken hits Solar Scarabs. They'll take game 3. And at least game 4 awaits around the
Take into
corner.
account what happened last game and realize what kind of stopped them. They're actively trying to counter those things. So the Oni Warriors have their pick of the Ishtar or the Cernos.
Ishtar.
Usually it's the Ishtar. And I would imagine that's where they go here, unless they want to
Yeah, I can make a poll for who wins.
find the Cernos just as valuable. They don't. They're going to grab the Ishtar. First pick. It's been played in mid. It's been played in duo. But I think
Arabs
Vote
game
probably going to take this one over that long lane.
So the Morgan, Dodgy, Fafnir by the
All right, go ahead, guys.
Poseidon, Pele, Vulcan.
Go for your game 4 predictions.
First pick from the Warriors, no surprise, seeing that this Hunter's made it through, but it does leave Cernanos open now, which has been consistently banned away throughout this set. Alongside of Sylvanas, could make for a pretty potent duo lane. Might actually be able to stand out to the pressure that Ishtar outputs. Remember, we always talk about how Ishtar plus insert carry here can really just kind of control, or insert support here can kind of just control a lane no matter what. But it won't even be the Cernanos. Might even go ignored. This game, it's Sylvanas and Rom for the Solar Scarabs.
I'm baffled. I think that you could honestly, if you're the only Warriors, you could take Ishtar, Nemesis, and Cern, and you could have a crazy composition. But I like this a little bit better. Not because it's good. I just love watching Darius on Hera. It always works out for him. It's a pick.
Let's play.
No one else is playing Hera, but it's a great follow-up to the Naja ult. It's got some decent self-peel, and it's just a very iconic God character matchup here for the Oni Warriors.
Well, now how will the Solar Scarabs respond? Could maybe see Double Hunter as an option if they do want to grab the Cernanos for the side of the Solar Scarabs. Maybe to throw that one over to mid lane for Snoopy. Snoopy, no stranger, at least to being able to pick up some of those gods, some of those hunters in the mid lane role. Let's see if he elects to go that way or the Solar Scarabs hold.
Let's play.
No jungler picked up for the Scarabs either. Could be a good idea to maybe grab something now for Sam before too many essential picks get taken away. Remember, he defaulted to the Hun Bats in game number 1. Worked out pretty well for him there. Just fell a little bit behind at that point. So I wonder what the Solar Scarabs do before this final ban wave comes through.
I mean, I'm thinking you don't have to focus Sam for Soccer's pick here, but he should be going something that can bully this Naja. It worked so fantastic in game number 3 there. If anything that can go for the kill on a Naja after the sash, it does not really care about wind, fire, wheels. Pele did it very well. That's banned away. You got a few different options. Sam for Soccer style picks. I think the Hebo still could be something that he wants to go to. Not the greatest matchup into the Naja, but once he goes back up in the air and he's not taking up the Hebo, you're usually landing into a crushing wave. And I also think that Hera doesn't love that pick either.
Whoa!
Snoopy's pick first, and it's gonna be the Scylla.
Spicy.
Not too much setup for it just yet. I mean, you've got the Wrath of Terra, but that's not always gonna be a great initiation. You gotta hope that more CC is coming in these last 2.
Now we go into the second wave of bans.
How we do this here? Good. We got first seed in phase 3 and second seed at Worlds.
And that worked out pretty well for Nika in that last game. Couple of moments where Nika and Neilma were able to really make some nice combos and kind of delay the game out. I'm thinking all the way back to the mid-Phoenix defense the two of them had to.
I feel like Scaredy's got that Jesus beard.
Phoenix at the very end just because they were a little too low to continue defending, but some great combo potential there. Bologna tier. The bans by the Solar Scarabs.
Got that Jesus beard.
On you from the Oni Warriors. So a lot of focus in the solo lane.
Yep.
With no solo laner picked up just yet. I mean, Amaterasu's still available. That one will be left open if the Scarabs want to go to it. Kakulin is something that Scaredy has gone to a few times, but Fenrir going to be the answer after the Mercury ban.
Definitely can be something that bullies the Hera. You just have to watch out for the polymorph. After that, you're taking the full brunt of a Brutalize. Also can bully out Naja when the sash is down, but you're not loving that 1v1. A counter gank for sure. Naja, you can make that work. It's good beats burn as well. We were talking about setup for Scylla.
What's up, man?
Holding someone still in a Fenrir's mouth is about as free of a kill as you can get.
Bro, I'm about to copy Haddix and just go to bed.
Damage online. I'm curious what you see Scary D go to. I mean, you have to imagine the Oni Warriors have the Amaterasu pick in the back of their pocket. Will they go it, though, is the question.
He's got the right strat. No webcam. You guys don't know.
Hard carry.
Basically a replay.
The Bologna hard carry in game number 1. And with the Kepri, you'd think even more damage in the backline would not hurt here. But they're thinking long and hard about this one.
Gaze into the mirror.
Well, Ama will not be able to go to Scary D this time as that gets locked in alongside Kepri for the Oni Warriors. We haven't seen very much Kepri this event so far, I believe.
Holy fuck, that dude's got the marble. That dude's got the marble notebook. Love it.
It's going to be something completely different for the Scarabs. Once again,
yeah, pound it.
Sylvanas was something new in game number 3 to kind of bump up here and help out the Scarabs.
Pound it, guys. Let me check my marble notebook here for my secret picks.
How do you feel about the Kama Ama matchup and kind of how that one will maybe shake up the early game for these teams?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're not really looking for that solo kill as the Kama. You can. You have plenty of damage, but you're picking that Kama for the dive onto Hera, right? You want to get into the back line, blink in, hit Vampiric Bats, focus out some sort of relic, and then go into battle.
Kama good into Hera, bro.
And that's something that can definitely happen. The one thing about Kama is you have to be landing that second ability. If you're not landing Vampiric Bats, you're missing out on a lot of extra damage. You're missing out on a lot of extra utility then, and it can be difficult. It's a hard ability to land consistently. They've got good CC though. I think that just because the Kepri's here to counter out Ragnarok, you always have the option.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good idea. Take a nap, then be refreshed, play Tarkov
first before the ult goes off, and you should be able to start off a team fight right. No way that Neil doesn't start beads, and if he doesn't, I know exactly where Sam for Soccer is going to be at level 5.
So we can see for at least the Oni Warriors, the Ishtar Kepri lane, that should be able to get a decent bit of pressure, maybe over the Sylvanas and the Rom over there. Scylla, with some of her recent buffs, has actually made it to where she can probably even go toe-to-toe, if not maybe even out-pressure the Hera in that regard. So for the Solar Scarabs to maybe try and find this lead, to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit earlier for them, where do you send Sam to try and get things started up for the Solar Scarabs?
At this point, it's just whoever's beads are down, right? He has plenty of opportunity to find ganks on just about anyone when the follow-up is there. I still think Neilma is going to take a lot of pressure this game as the Kepri, but that's pretty much anyone who's playing Kepri. They know you're probably going to be the first target with some CC. Maybe a Sunder pickup could be valuable here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just focus out Neil and then worry about the rest of the team fight once you're up 5-4.
We've been seeing a lot of purification beats picked up by Neil and by some of the other supports through this weekend, maybe recognizing that they have kind of been the target of a lot of this aggression through. Would not be surprised, as you highlight, that Fenrir could maybe look to try and focus up on Neil Ma just a little bit, try and keep this support down, and maybe try and prevent some of these Scarabs blessings from saving their teammates, maybe trying to use it to save his own skin in that regard. The Solar Scarabs, though, they got game number 3, but now they got to take game 4, and they've got to take game 5 before we have a chance to see a game 5. The Scarabs have got to get it done here. Will we see the coded 5th game? Let's find out in game number 4.
We haven't had a game 5 all weekend long. It would be a heck of a time for one with Worlds on the line. But the Oni Warriors now need to restabilize after what happened there in game 3, where Sanford Soccer really takes things over and does not give the Oni Warriors a chance. Simply steamrolls the Oni Warriors in game number 3. And Myth Sam's got a pick that can get the ball rolling here. Bit of a different look. Fenrir supplying targets to your team. But it's a run back for Cuvo Fred on this Naja. Got run off the map by Sanford Soccer in game 3. Maybe a bit more momentum would feel good for Cuvo Fred in game 4.
And this time around, you've got an okay counter matchup.
So those Gale teams,
essentially just like doesn't work against Naja. Hold on to Sash, and you'll always have an answer for it. So I don't hate him going back to Naja. It's not standard follow-up, though, from Dardes. Generally, you want a Searing Pain, a Kraken, a Sweep of 9 Winds, like that style of burst ability. Well, I mean, you could polymorph on landing. You can,
yeah.
Oh man, the ability name is eluding me. Where yeah, the Argus Hammer though, like where both the hands come out.
Kyle, thank you.
Smashes them.
Couldn't tell you.
The Hulk Smash. That's the one.
All right, place your Royal Assault. That's what I was gonna say, and then
of course,
Doug brought it up right as I was saying it.
Like it's decent damage follow-up. It's a bit desynced, and if there is beads available to whoever's landed from Cuvo Fred's ultimate, one probably should have had beads on landing. Yeah. That means you could have beads the actual ultimate itself. But if it is there, the damage follow-up will take a pretty significant hit as well, as you're allowed to move immediately afterward. Otherwise, I'm keeping my eyes on Sanford Soccer. He was integral to the win for the Solar Scarabs. This time around, Charlie does a great job highlighting this. Not exactly the individual playmaker that Pele is. Yep. A little bit more so for facilitation. Need some help here.
Good damage onto Snoopy.
Holy shit.
Autos would have gotten it done, but Sanford Soccer supplies the body blocks. It'll end up being the Scylla for Snoopy here this game. If we have seen plenty of Scylla games in the past that have made
so many
crazy differences during World Championship events. Pretty decent follow-up on an ult from Sanford Soccer, maybe pull in a root from Hurrywind. We have also seen plenty of Scylla games where nothing seems to connect. It's a risk-reward type of god for the Solar Scarabs here in game 4. You almost got to use the beats very early on in the laning phase.
That's tough. So now rotations from Sanford Soccer will have value. Fortunately, this early in the game, you're not super worried about Ragnarok coming through. It's generally on that 4.5 minute mark that you start to tick over to level 5. So by the time that happens, beat should be back up.
You're worried about the Sash, though, that's for sure. Scary D silenced, and Cuvo, Fred, and Nika won't have enough damage. One tower shot would have killed off the Amaterasu. But you know what? It's a different look from Cuvo Fred than what, actually not even. It's the same look for Cuvo Fred from what we saw in game 3, where he was the one who was starting off a lot of the pressure. Sanford Soccer was answering it quite effectively. And so picking up with some of the early ganks for Cuvo Fred. Not a bad look, especially when you know there's not a Pele awaiting on the other side.
Did they wake him up finally?
You have to actually shut down a Kamazot's. Bat Out of Hell is just one of the best escape tools in the game. Removes you from the playfield for so long. You can essentially cover half a lane's worth of distance with that ability too. So trying to catch him pre-5, an admirable effort from Cuvo Fred. And even in just burning the beads away, should make it a bit easier for Nika to reestablish equilibrium in that lane. For the most part, Scary D was winning out on the poke battle up until then. Now, maybe without beads, take over to Dazzling Offensive, level 5 first. Could keep it interesting.
Could keep it interesting, but
doesn't even hit 5 first. Unlucky.
Yeah, unbelievable. We have not seen a Kamazotz in a laning phase in a little while. It's fallen out of meta contention just a little bit. Good at dive, good at supplying some damage, Myth. stay in the engagement, and actually looks like might end up being a Transcendence early on. I was wondering what direction of build this Camazotz would go. Scary D has liked the sort of hybrid build. We saw Soul Eater first on Cucullin a few games ago. Now it looks like an early Transcendence. Anything that can supply a little extra damage on these sort of hybrid warrior assassin style of builds. Something Scary D likes to go.
Yeah, just the ability to deal damage, I think, is the main thing on Scary D's mind. Loves to get into that backline. He wants to be a threat on his own. Very capable of being a facilitator, but Camazotz not exactly that style of god.
I guess you have to deal damage. You're not doing,
that's all
doing
he
much
does.
else, right?
Camazotz is the god of damage. He's got a slow. That's it. That's the amount of CC that he brings to the team fight. Otherwise, every single one of your abilities just about dealing with some of these squishier targets. Has great die potential, especially against Hera, who is lacking mobility. But as the game starts to tick onward, Hera's HP shield that she gets just gets massive, very easy to avoid at least one ability from this Camazotz. That's when you start to look elsewhere. That facilitation of Sanford Soccer setting up for the I'm a monster from Snoopy, or even Hurry when finding those pools. That's how you burn through that shield, find the bigger damage. So then, what is Scary D's job? If it's not just to deal with Dardas on your own, it's to create that space.
Yep.
Has a decent matchup into Vote. Can answer ultimate with ultimate every single time, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're in the laning phase. We're a ways off.
Depending on the pace of this game, though, we might be hanging out in this laning phase for 10, 15 minutes or so. I do wonder how the Scarabs Blessing will impact this game. I mean, you could drop it on a target that's about to get I'm a Monstered. Drop it on a target who gets Ragnaroked. It could be very important.
I'll bet you this. First one's going to him. Like, he's ulting himself for sure.
He's going to have to at some point throughout this game. Almost guarantee it. Sash in. That's onto Hurrywin. Polymorph, Argus, all of it drops. But for now, Hurrywin's able to get out there.
Good body
Windfire
blocks.
Wheels rolling through in a dazzling offensive from Nika. Still in the back line, but Scary D has eyes for Cuvo Fred, whose last bit of mana is used towards a heal. Argus
Wow, no
chasing
one
down
dies.
targets,
That's
not
crazy.
low enough. And a little scrap on the right side jungle keeps everyone on the map.
Man, Neil is absolutely insane for that one. Body blocks out the Ragnarok from Sanford Soccer, who had eyes for Dardas the entire time, and just times it out completely. Ragnarok wasn't allowed to be used there. Doesn't even burn the beads away from Neilma. Decides not to pick up anybody. Great play from the Only Warrior support. Just goes to show sometimes having a warm body there, all you need.
Somehow the Solar Scarabs myth have built up 1,000 gold lead here. Seemingly out of nowhere. Experience.
Yeah, where is that?
Experience dead even. Scary D has been farming up quite effectively there. Net worth 4.3K for him, 3.8K for Nika. So 500 of it for Scary D, and then maybe another 100, 150 or so spread out across the rest of the Solar Scarab. So just a good bit of farming here from Scary, who hasn't been able to go back and finish the Transcendence just yet. That'll be a nice power spike. Whenever you can go ahead and get that one stacking, makes you more impactful in the team fights. Over on right, Vote avoids the pull back, and he'll do you one better. He's fighting out with Netrioid here. Gotta flip away though, because there's too much to fight in with. Oh no, Neilma, he's here as the snipes. Headed towards Vote, would have been a Scarab's Blessing.
Vote's like, yeah, right, buddy.
Snipes were connecting. But more just a tense moment for Vote than anything else.
Loses out on the beads though, which could be dangerous. Sanford Soccer without Ragnarok. Very good at chasing down gods like Ishtar. Just brutalized, sticks to her.
Ishtar!
By dashing at him or using your ultimate. Neither exactly a great option. Just puts him exactly where he wants to be, which is right next to you. So, gonna have to play cautiously in that lane for a good while. Fortunately for Vote, it's not the only safety net he's still holding on to. He has Scarab's Blessing. Neilma can hover nearby. Make sure that it's a little bit more.
Do Bucks need to do to win? They're winning right now. They're doing all right.
So are Scarabs. I'm curious to see where they put this pressure.
Keep playing smart.
So much that gold lead is sitting on Scary D, and Experience hasn't exactly separated just yet either. Could be that he just relegates himself to sitting in this lane, especially with what could be one of the most aggressive, greedy builds you'll ever see out of the solo.
Oh, wow, is he on Soul Eater after?
I think he might be. It's the only one that makes sense to me.
I think he's going full damage.
A lot of power, get some penetration. I mean, it's a great stat stick, but double stacking, it's going to take a while.
My man is tired of initiating and wants to just scrap. Think back to...
I'm sick of chewing. I want to eat.
Oh my god, I didn't...
You don't get that bit? Oh, man.
I did not know where you were going with that. I was super nervous for a moment. Was it... I guess it was what?
Nah,
early
baked
season
beans.
9 this year when solo laners were building What was Bastet solo the beginning of season 9 where they're just going full assassin?
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, man. That had to have been.
I think it was.
That's mid-season 8. I'm pretty sure.
No, because remember Nika got a pentakill
Was that this
during
year?
the SPL promotional tournament.
I was thinking you're looking for solo kills? Almost never.
Man.
Build-
The ADC has to be
That
pretty
was the
bad
build. That was
to get a
pre-nerf
solo kill on them.
Right, pre-nerf solo.
Or they just don't care, like the game's over or
It
something.
worked out pretty handedly then. That's back when we were getting a lot of Kleena solo as well. I guess Scaredy rewinding the clock a bit. We'll see what the rest of those 3 items in the initial build look like, but for now, looks like damage. But in your mind,
So,
Biff,
I don't give a
means
fuck
you
about the
slow
regular
down
season,
game
bro.
a bit and farm up.
Yeah, it's just going to take a little while. I mean, soul laners for the most part
I don't
don't
give a
really
shit,
want to
bro.
rotate out a lane before level 15 or so anyway, so should be able to get to that
So
point.
greedy.
It's just the nature of the beast.
What's up, Sketchy?
man. That's just how it is. I think once he does rotate, though, it speaks to that level of, hey, you need damage. If with Camazotz, that's all you're providing to your team, you got to do it well. Now he's going to have some more survivability.
My goodness, well, he's got good damage already for Cubo Fred. He's got the Windfire wheels onto the Camazotz. Still a bat out of hell awaiting. Cubo, oh, he's in the Scarab's blessing. This is timed wonderfully by the Solar Scarabs. I'm a monster, up and over. Oh no, but Nika, he'll get first blood onto Snoopy, who waited too long, was searching for the ultimate onto Cubo Fred, and that chance never arrived. Instead, Nika has, as Scary D might be the next to get chased down, but
Bruh.
happy with the 1-for-1 of the rest of the Onis.
Nika still hovering nearby, wants a bit more.
Snoopy's
but it's
positioning
pulled
there.
out.
What the hell?
Not a massive objective here. Would be risky for the Solar Scarabs to look for the defense, so they will not.
He
Great
didn't
play
even need
once
to
more.
stay.
I
mean, he
Cubo Fred
first he
with
missed his
the
initial
blessing
too, and then he
would've
went to
just
like
sat
melee
and
range.
watched
That's
him
so
timed
weird.
out
I don't
time.
know.
Instead, takes the opportunity to do the absolute most. Does upwards of 60 to 70% of Snoopy's HP bar, creating the opportunity to turn around that first blood.
Nika's in trouble now. No dazzling offensive, but a
He's
dash away.
dead.
Brutalized chases it. And a second for the Solar
Jeez,
Scarabs.
Fenrir
right on
OP.
time. Teleport's going to be there, but it's 30 seconds away for Nika. Get some stacks. Look, anytime you can put some pressure over where Scary D is, get the stacks building, get some of those extra items online. Jump start what is a bit of a slower build. Scarabs are placing their pressure in a decent spot now. A Pyromancer pulled out by the Solar Scarabs,
They got
scanning
it.
the map. No one from the Oni Warriors close by, and another proactive play pays off. And early in game 4, a 2,000 gold lead for the Scarabs.
Man, experience as well, starting to balloon out of control at that. The Oni Warriors, still potential to fight back in. Experience landing 1 level in mid, 1 in support for the most part. Not exactly the biggest deal, and even 1 out of the solo lane. I think for now, the Oni Warriors likely just want to spool up Dardes. That's really where you're trying to find all your damage. That's your follow-up on the Windfire wheels. Allow him the opportunity to farm up.
My goodness, this is a fight over in solo. Dazzling offensive. He
just got him.
Oh my god, Scary D, the
Scary.
silence! Could not get into the bat out of hell. And it's light work for Nika. Takes a deep breath, comes back to lane.
What?
And solo Scary D. And we're fighting in duo as well. Cubo Fred is on his way in. Cubo Fred needed, but Dardes around the backside will take it away. And across
What is
the map,
happening?
it's all coming up Onis.
I mean, it was essentially a 1v1 on both sides. Vote had him solo, dead to rights, just needed a little bit of help to secure the kill. That is wild. Scary D had ult, could have just got out.
Now a fight continues in mid.
Why are they throwing?
Drops from the heavens. Snoopy will be silenced. Be able to dash away. I'm a monster for the CC
How-
immunity.
these
just
guys-
in
both of them
case.
basically
Any
just
amount
got
of damage.
soloed, bro.
Likely takes that Scylla down. And without Wrath of Terra, without I'm a monster, the Oni Warriors sensing the Scarabs a bit weaker. And a Gold Fury pull goes the way of the Oni Warriors.
Game's
and
even
an answer
now.
back early pressure from the Scarabs.
What a crazy turnaround. Things were starting to get real dire for the Oni Warriors, but Nika comes up massive for the team. Slight misplay there from Scary D. Netroid gets over aggressive, takes the 1v1. When you look at the itemization between these two hunters, 1v1s favor Vote. It only takes 1 or 2 crits to make up for the difference of that execution or DPS. Clearly, Vote had it there. Was able to turn that one around completely, and now the Warriors, having stripped the Gold Fury from the map, don't need to worry about the Solar Scarabs looking towards it. The concern being that the Solar Scarabs just have better confirmed.
Scary D makes his presence known. Will have Bat out of hell this time, but if Nika can chase this down, or maybe silence him out again, might be another one on the Scary D. How far is Bat out of hell really gonna get him? Nika and Cubo Fred can chase this down if they want
Close.
blink needed. Almost the sash,
Eesh.
but the blink not red.
Scary got the wave too. That's
He's gonna
fine.
Use it all but beads. was an aggressive play. Scary knew that Cubo and Nika were there. Chose to step up anyway.
Scary's got big man syndrome right now. He's thinking to himself, look, Transcendence almost stacked up. Soul Eater there too.
Okay.
Nilma in no man's land, but so tanky.
Tanky has beads and Scarab's blessing. Look at the damage.
Why did Sam
Both
ult
able
him
to
there?
return. Snoopy was hovering in the background. If the fight made its way further into the jungle, Neil will take that every day. I mean, doesn't want to have to use the beads, but we'll use them to waste the time of a few of the Solar Scarabs.
Now, once more, we get to get a little bit of a breather here. Not much to fight
That's
over
not
on the
bad out
map.
of hell.
Hasn't stopped the fight from happening in the soul lane.
Oh, he might be in
Dardas
trouble.
and Cubo.
Yeah.
This could be a dive.
Scary's in trouble. Does not have bad out of hell. Won't have it for a little while. Dazzling offensive.
Counter
Might
rotation.
force out the beads. Polymorph. None of the damage connecting Argus needed at the
They're
end.
here.
Only Warriors do get the kill. On to Scary D, but had to use a lot to get there. But Sam for Soccer, he's in late. He'll go up into the wind fire wheels. Is there damage on the backside? Yes, there is. And it's Dardas' second of the game, and now Snoopy is alone in the blue buff. Individual picks, one by one, but Netrioid on a rotation out of duo might flip
Need a
this
little more.
fight. The Aegis, it's perfect. It's Cubo Fred
Oh,
out.
God.
Neoma on the fadeaway, but it's a double kill over to net. Far from a clean fight and call it a
What a
3-3.
rotation from
What is Netroid
Netroid.
getting now has spent so much time at the opposite side of the map that Vote gets a couple of solo waves, takes down the tower too. I like this call from Netroid. Can't get back in time to defend. Not his tower, not his buff, so instead must only move forward. A tier 1 tower in solo, a decent answer. That is a massive rotation from the Solar Scarabs off the back of a huge aggression from the Oni Warriors. Scary D survives much longer than I think anybody would have expected. And it's
Not gonna lie, the first two games were ass.
Whoa.
Is that it keeps you
No.
alive. They can't do this.
They are. They're doing it.
They can't.
Only Warriors, they are going to start hovering towards right. No way they
It's
have
a
enough
reset.
damage.
Neil? Okay.
Right, gets reset. Neilma would have poked his head around the corner anyway. I'm not sure Neilma saw the health bar low at all. I think it had reset. Completely unaware as to
Take a nap,
what
bro?
nearly just
Honestly.
transpired. Was going to check it anyway, just in case. So the likelihood of that working out, miraculously slim. But that's something to look for as well later in this game, Myth, especially when we're as even as we are here in Game 4. Snoopy with I'm a Monster and Crush should have the best secure on the map. You're going to get a little bit of burst from Dardas.
It's either, really. Crush or I'm a Monster.
Right,
I think
or I'm
beats
a
out
Monster.
anything Dardas can do.
But when you got both, you're even more heavily favoring your mid laner. That's something the Solar Scarabs will have in their back pocket. You love to use the burst damage for kills and fights, but when it comes to being a bit more aggressive around objectives, you have the opportunity. Pyromancer picked up by the Oni Warriors, and that does effectively equalize us. Myth?
They probably just called it, like everyone's missing. They could be on fire, check
It's
it.
a best of 5 set. We have so many more games left.
Or do we?
It's good awareness.
Or do we? Netroid,
Time is so short.
it is. I'm worried about this. Could this be a dive onto Vote?
Bo's
There's a
got
lot
beads,
here.
got beads, got Aegis, got ultimate, uses the ladder, uses the former, backflips
lot of
off
damage.
Netrioid, Vote somehow trades! Oh, and Netrioid avoids the tower shot.
Oh shit, Vote played that
Shot from
perfectly.
Monster from Snoopy as both carries. Brawl with Nika, dodges the
Neil.
damage. Neilma's in behind as well, so a Scarab's Blessing allows for some aggression, but
They can
Nika
turn this, boys, turn this.
most of his health. This is awesome for the Solar Scarabs, and it's a Windfire Wheels up from Cubo Fred. Where's
Get the
burst
fuck
on
in there,
side?
Snoopy.
Here it
Too
is.
soon.
But Scary D gets his bat out of hell off, and it ends up being 1-for-1.
Bo
Both
played that
down,
really
Sam for
well.
Soccer gone.
Either Scary D had a Vampire Bat set up for him before landing, or that was just too soon from Dardas on the ultimate. That damage output just not quite there.
Oni Fury.
TK on a couple. Oni Warriors on the scene. Solar Scarabs nearby. Snoopy and Netroid, no ultimates for either. Means they just got to get in there and do it the old-fashioned way.
But can Netrioid make the play? No, because there's a sash from Cubo
Wow.
Fred, who might have actually.
You good?
Where did his health go? Yeah,
I've never
Jesus.
seen that interaction before. Because Cubo Fred wasn't in range of that little Orby, it just bounced
Oh,
continuously.
come on, Snoopy. What the
No way for
fuck?
Netroid to stop it. That's crazy.
Yeah, right, because if you were in it, you would
It
have
would've-
popped
it
it.
would've
right.
popped it.
But because you couldn't deal damage to it, it just kept going.
Imagine that killed him. Imagine.
That would have been nuts. Admittedly, it would have, this is me showing my own weakness. It would have been totally lost on me. I would have just assumed it was bouncing forever for some reason, which is why you're here to fully shine that light. It makes sense to me now, but in the moment, I would have just been like, oh, ring toss bounced a whole bunch. That sucks. That
Yeah,
sucks
unlucky for
Netroid.
the old Roid.
That's right. The Fire Giant looked at now, though. That's the next big objective here. Miff, you were talking about 5-10 minutes down the road at the 5 or so minute mark. We fully have arrived here. Darda's well underway in his build. Snoopy is as well. We've seen how the Poly is able to get a little extra burst damage on a few of those targets. Not fully stacked is that Soul Eater just yet. We're real close to it. So some healing starting to bake in. Just the double stacking for Scary D. Needs all of that healing right now because there's a rotation from the Scarabs. He has that out of hell, but no beads. Maybe a worthwhile trade for the Oni Warriors, who have now softened up and deleted the Tier 1 tower.
And they're keeping up this offense at that. They know Snoopy's in mid.
Yep.
So best case, only 4 here from the Solar Scarabs to defend. Small skirmish in the jungle.
Whoa.
Cubo Fred in trouble.
Cubo's low, has to use the Aegis, and nearly ends up dying anyway. Oh, Nika's gone big.
The turn.
And so has Dardes. The AoE running wild right, but Cubo
Fred, what?
Power, traded out by Sanford Soccer, and Snoopy is way behind the Oni Warriors here, but they pinged him out. The Oni Warriors
He's on a
know
ward.
exactly where Snoopy is.
And they don't care?
And they don't care at all. They're going to pull the Fire Giant in the face, but they have got a 2-for-1 trade, and they've got Nika, who's feeling himself a bit, and Dardes.
Did he catch his dash?
Their offense, and it's another for the Oni Warriors.
A reset now.
I think he
for
got
the
his
Warriors
dash
would
caught.
look good. 20 seconds left on respawn from their jungler. Netroid on 40 means you can regroup and move towards the Fire Giant immediately. That is ridiculous aggression from the Oni Warriors. The second Snoopy showed himself on the map, they say it's a 5 versus 4.
Yep.
I love those odds. We're jumping here. Stepped themselves up.
The Scarabs played that fight
Knocked
really
down
well,
the
but they
Scarabs.
just didn't have Snoopy there.
Boldly, not
Because they baited
massive.
Neil's ult
Certain
already,
map state, game
but they
state,
just didn't have fucking
favoring the Warriors enough
Snoopy
that
there.
they could generate some pressure. I mean, they've even got the whole.
No, the game is dead even.
Maybe
It's
they
anyone's
can
game
risk
right
it
now.
here.
Right. Trying to think if that's on brand for the Warriors.
It is not.
Having for dinner tonight?
take a role.
I don't know.
It feels like a team that plays very
No idea.
cautiously. If they win this game, again, it'll be the second big major qualifier tournament that they've had to qualify through.
Did he beads and ult?
Lot
No,
here
okay, he
over
just
in
ulted.
mid.
Thank
I'm a
God.
Monster backpedals him away from the Tier 1 tower, and Cubo Fred takes the I'm a
Yo.
Monster
This
on
guy's
the
a
jaw.
psycho.
Hurry with
Fred is
the-
looking at Neil like,
Snoopy
yo.
with the poly proc, and now Nika's caught out. What is happening?
Oh my God.
here In game number 4, the Oni Warriors.
He got no dash for a
they've
little
done too
bit.
Much. Nika avoids the crush, but not the slow. Scarab's blessing won't get procced by Scary
he's
D.
done.
One snipe from Netroid, and it's actually 2.
Oh my God, Fred, you're into mode right now.
The Oni Warriors, Miff, they're walking back forward.
Argus has the damage.
Argus!
Netroid has to peel it out. Does finally reset. Hurry with it, Snoopy.
Oh, he
on the
pulled the
chain.
phone!
Oh my God, Sanford Soccer has jumped back in. And Dardes has been rooted again. Hurrywin, a madman with the roots on the front of these fights.
I'm giggling,
Take
bro.
a
What
deep
the
breath.
fuck?
Cubo Fred walks into the I'm a Monster and then sashes in anyway. And suddenly it's the Solar Scarabs with the map state advantage.
Cubo Fred had to have been assuming that Snoopy's beads were down.
Snoopy?
That's the only way it works.
How much damage is Snoopy going to be able to
Did
do
Neil see
here
him?
if both of the
He was
carries
trying to get
walk
the
over?
carries.
I don't think he did. Neilma dashes away. Fire Giant
It's just Pyro.
slowly looked at, but instead Pyromancer.
I respect
Nika's
that call. I think
to
that's a
for
good call.
5,
Just
does
do
not
Pyro.
have teleport. And a 4v5 on right. That is not to be. Wouldn't you guess it, Miff? We've teeter-tottered back the other way. We were teetering before, now we've tottered back to the Solar Scarabs.
I'm getting motion sick.
I know. What is it? Is it Dramamine that's motion
I
sickness?
need it.
Did you pop some before this set, before this game? It's where the Oni Warriors have roared out to a 2-0 lead. And a lead here in game 4. Have not made things easy on themselves or us. I'm thinking back, I can't get Cubo Fred taking the I'm a Monster and going in anyway.
Well, he takes the I'm a Monster because Sash was late. He's trying to sash the I'm a Monster
right, okay,
damage.
Okay.
And then I think the only reason you sash in there is because you assume Snoopy's beads are down.
Right.
If that's the case, Windfire Wheels,
Right,
easy pick.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't the case, and instead what we got was what appears to be one of the most baffling,
Right.
goofy plays we've
Right.
had all week. But read between the lines a little bit. You know, there's a method to the madness.
Sure. Yeah, this is just the chalice thing all over again.
Yep.
You've got a glimpse into the inner eye of the players, and I'm just seeing it for what it is. A man who's taking an I'm a Monster on the chin and going in anyway. But the emotional player in Cubo Fred ebbs and flows with the game state. And for a moment there, the Oni Warriors were raging forward in this game. Now you got to look across the map in moments like this because it does seem like we're starting to stumble into Fire Giant Dance territory. Waves pushing in on the left side of the map for the Oni Warriors could concern a tier 2 tower for the Scarabs. Nothing that you're immediately going to leave, though, and drop a defense around a Fire Giant for. And there's a Primal Fury on the map, but again, when both teams, Myth, have the ability to do this FG, I'm not sure you're leaving for just about anything right now.
No, the most you do is send one over, but even then, so dangerous. And the only one on either side that can essentially just solo the Fury is either ADC, maybe Nika, once he upgrades that starter item. This is concerning. Solar Scarab setting something up in the jungle. Just coiling up for that bite, but instead, nobody steps forward. This is what happens when neither team has got a significant advantage. Neither one wants to be the one to pull.
Oh, in game 5 too. It was interesting.
Just hovered near.
Oh, Neil roots, dashes, gets pulled, uses the Scarab's blessing on himself. Big cooldown, now down, now missing from the Oni Warriors. Nearly a fatal mistake.
Hey Zeb, how do you stay top notch when there are lulls in SPL playtime? Sometimes I feel
so far in this game.
I don't know. I just am.
He'll go back, but
I don't know. I've never really needed to warm up or like.
Aggressive they want to be.
Very.
Because the
stay fresh.
Scarab's blessing,
you know what I mean?
it's gone.
Just always ready to go.
Quarter of the way back, but Fire Giant looked at, poked at, not committed on by the Scarabs.
Yeah, Hurry realizing that maybe he's not exactly the tankiest target.
About
Takes
a minute
whole
away.
lot of damage. You're right, 1 minute.
So around the
Oh, look at that.
26-minute mark.
It's Breastplate of Valor, actually, for Neil Ma. So those ultimates will be coming a bit more consistently than otherwise, something we don't get to see too often. A little bit of CDR for the support. For now, neither team going to step forward. Dave, I couldn't tell you what breaks open the door here.
Hey, Miff.
It'd have to be a pick. You scared?
Are you scared?
I'm not scared.
No?
Nah.
You're not scared of what might be, what could be?
I'm going to Worlds, okay? I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
be
am
there.
I.
And they, one of these teams won't be.
Yeah, that's why I'm scared.
It's scary stuff.
It's terrifying. The solo laner for the Scarabs. He's so scary.
Understood.
20 seconds away from Neoma's ultimate coming back, right around that 26-minute mark. And that's an eternity here in Smite. Or if the Scarabs somehow found an initiation, but, smart from the Oni Warriors. They're just showing enough face to slow down the Fire Giant pull, but not enough that they're suddenly going to get jumped on.
It's the Warriors with a lead. A small one,
It is.
but a lead.
But they didn't have Scarab's Blessing, which they now do have. Trebuchet on left. Again, the smallest of margins in a moment like this
Ugh.
is Trebuchet maybe taking down a tier 2 tower. Polyproc onto Cubo Fred. Doesn't feel too great. Crush. Melts through that shield. Neomar gets jumped on.
Yikes!
Neomar gets pulled again. Uses beads. Not the Scarab's Blessing this time. Nika separating out the fight for the
Yeah, dude, this game
Man,
is
this is just
the
such
thinnest
small
of margins.
Snoopy has set up on this corner the entirety of this Fire Giant dance, just looking for situations like that. If you need something to open the door, a crush like that is exactly it. One more, Cubo's down to a quarter, has to head back to base, and the Solar Scarabs have got a significant opportunity to start looking towards the Fire Giant proper. We've danced for so long, Pyromancer about to respawn. Could be enough threat that the Oni Warriors want to step forward here.
Snoopy's been in that
Just like
spot the
Solar
whole
Scarabs,
time.
They're so hard to push into.
Could be aggressive here for Sam. Looking for
They don't
Nika
see him.
or Cubo Fred. It's a double stun, and it's Nika who's got to dash
Oh,
away.
no.
Ragnarok early from Sanford Soccer.
That Ragnar was
Also,
actually
fire
late.
wheels down from Cubo Fred. Neither jungler's got it. That Argus could be big, though. It's forced relics from Snoopy.
They're in.
And Nika right on time with the dazzling offensive. A Wrath of Terra from
Look at
Hurrywin
Sam.
disengages the fight. Sanford Soccer's melted down. Vote still lives, and Vote's got damage for the Solar Scarabs. It's a fight.
Got him.
But Netrioid on the fadeaway. Hits
Go
a
net.
three.
Let's go
The
net.
Warriors just
Big
trade out
snipe for
solo
net.
for jungle.
Talk about clutch. Netroid keeps it even towards the tail end of that fight. Pyromancer finally will fall.
That was a
but
great
the Oni
engage by
Warriors,
Darnez.
had
Jesus.
they just survived, had Nika just made his way back to base, could have TP'd in and we'd be talking about a Fire Giant, but instead, it's a reset from the Oni Warriors. The Scarabs are still here.
Oh my god, but Neomon knows that the Solar Scarabs are on the Fire
Holy
Giant,
shit,
and
this
the
is huge. They're just gonna get it.
Oni
They're just
Warriors,
gonna
it's
get
one and
it.
a half.
Secure it,
A
Snoopy.
Capri steal, will it happen? No, it won't. I saw the word Scarab on my screen
God.
and nearly cried. I associated it with the Capri, but no, the Solar Scarabs get Fire Giant on 4. And it finally breaks open after 5 minutes
Shit.
of dancing around FG.
Man, Trebuchet's been putting in work quietly on the other side. Good eyes, Doug. drops that Phoenix low. Unfortunately for the Oni Warriors, I don't think
Dardas had an
optimize
insane
on
engage
it.
there. Yeah, I'm fucking
Instead,
sweating.
Surely not. The situation isn't this desperate. Hide in the jungle.
Oh, yeah.
Take the fight.
Oh, but Sam's got bubble. It's
Who
gotta be
walks up
awkward.
first? It can't be Sam.
Sam's gonna walk in. Can they pop the bubble?
I think he
with-
saw him. I think he saw him.
They can pop the bubble with an ability they don't care about, and then somehow time it.
Bro, Sam's been level 18 for like the last
Spot
10
out,
minutes.
and the Warriors will scatter in
Get
the
this man 20.
left side. Phoenix down to half HP. Allow me to recontextualize this for you, Myth.
Please do.
We're in game 4.
Yep.
Oni Warriors took a 2-0 lead.
That's
in this set.
intense, man.
Yep.
And this is a set that's winner take all. Loser goes home. Either you're going to Worlds or your year is done. And in game 3, the Scarabs roar back. And now here in a game 4, a must-win game 4, I might add. The Solar Scarabs have finally broken this deadlock and gotten Fire Giant on everyone but Sam for Soccer. Now the gold lead remains stable for the Oni Warriors, still about 1,000. The buff is non-actual gold lead counting, but it feels better in a team fight. This last tower might drop, but I bring that up to say Oni Warriors not fighting for their world's lives just yet. But if you go into a game 5 after 2 straight wins from the Solar Scarabs, you're fighting back something fierce. And I imagine you're still feeling
Yo, this
you've
shit
got
is
something to say about this
insane.
defense, given the state of
Keep your eyes on Sam for Soccer. He'll be acting as solo agent. I think smart to split up the map. This time
There,
around,
he's
those
finally
two friends
20,
should be able to
bro.
take that 1v1 if the opportunity should arise. I'm keeping my eyes on relic timers. Bees and Aegis just now coming back up for Snoopy and Netroid. Could be the go button for the Solar
Hard to push on
Scarabs.
Ishtar,
Fight your
Terra.
way in. Keep your eyes on Fred as well. He's completely separated himself from the core of his team.
Whoa, Snoopy took a lot of damage. It's the Royal Assault, Myth.
See, we could just put his 2 down, right? See, we could walk up, put his 2 down, leave it there.
Decent minion wave.
So they can't-
building
so it's
up
hard for
on
them
the
to
map.
walk up.
Solar Scarabs find themselves
You know what I mean?
on the entire opposite side of the map. Junglers 1v1ing over in mid. Cubo Fred holding his own for now. It's a pull from Hurrywind that's caught.
See,
him
I
out
hate
a
this.
couple of times. He's got
If Stupid just puts his 2 there to zone,
and Scarabs
deeper,
lets him know on
they
the
can
other
walk
side.
in.
Hurrywind walks forward. His bubble gets popped.
It's a lot of
Root
damage.
Pull, no good. Takes a little poke from Vote and Dardes. Sam for Soccer will walk his way forward in mid. Gets a stun onto Cuvo Fred. Lets his roar be heard. And Cuvo trades out the bubble on the jungler on the flip side. 1 minute left on the FG buff.
This Fire Giant hasn't been able to even poke in damage to the tier 2 tower just yet.
Baby, stop using your 2 to clear,
Solar
please, for the
Scarabs.
love of God. Use your
He's
brain.
gonna move
Oh
in
my
there.
fucking
Hurry's
God,
talking
man.
with hands and pleading his team to follow his calls. He's rooted in place now.
Tower's going.
Scary D gets polymorphed. The last bit of damage should find its way into this tower. As Sam for Soccer going to go up and over the wall. He has Blink
It's dangerous.
and Leap. Scary D took half of his health and damage. And that might be the last action we see.
Why doesn't he just use his 2 to zone them, bro? Damn.
Lead, it's swung, but only 1,000 in the other direction. And at this point in the game, yes, maybe completed items. That's really what you're looking at. Everyone outside of support's at level 20. And even then, it's just a 1 level difference.
Mark.
Cubo Fred pleading with his team. There's a lot of hand talking going on.
This
in the
dude is
player
using
group
his
right now.
1-2 to clear the wave that
When you are-
Netroid can
you are
use
on
2
a
autos to
margin
clear.
this thin in a game where the
When I see Scylla use her 1-2, I'm gonna walk up
You
and
feel
defend
like you
because
got an
there's no
idea?
threat.
on exactly what you need to end
Dummies!
this game, you got to make your voice heard, and that's when the passion, you're right, Miff, rolls through. Remember, last Fire Giant dance was about 5 minutes. A bubble here.
Sam had Mace
There,
1,
those
he
were the
sold it.
difference makers. And we might be steamrolling towards the same exact thing. No big map state swings. Open Phoenixes on different sides of the base, but no fire minions walking in just yet. It's a Gold Fury. Who cares about that right now over on left? It's going to come down to who gets picked and who does the picking here at the 33-minute mark.
The Solar Scarabs in first.
Miff,
Should
I
be
want
able
you to say it
establish
for
this
me
one
just
themselves.
once.
What do you want?
I want you to tell me how you're feeling, and I want it to be scared.
I'm scared.
Thank you, and that sounded scared.
All right. Let's talk about game state, Dave.
Please.
Every relic available to both of these teams. Power
Ah,
hit
so
the majority of key
intense.
components. In particular, Snoopy sitting at full build could really
Oh.
just one-shot just about anybody. Hurrywind, making sure the Oni Warriors stay honest. That
You could just
bold
feel the
end
stakes
of
on this
the
game.
One
It's
pick
the
on
stakes are
either
so
side
high. You could just feel
really
it.
switch things up. But look at the itemization from Dardes.
Mm-hmm.
Book of the Dead. to close out the build. He's got HP shields in the kit. He's got a bubble buddy in the kit. He's always got an ally nearby, and now he's got a secondary HP shield should he fall low. If the Solar Scarabs aren't making note of that,
And an Aegis.
could be caught
And a
off
Scarab's
guard.
Blessing.
Could be caught off guard by how much.
Yeah, that's his spot, baby. They know already.
But once more, Snoopy has
Enhanced
assumed
Fire
the position.
It's tough for
This
both
is
teams,
his
bro. Both teams have a
corner
great
right here.
defense. Like the
Anybody
Sylvanas
who
and
walks
the
up
Khepri
needs
make
to
it very
rush.
difficult.
Except for Neil, who somehow has avoided it every time.
Neil's bubble is popped though.
Uh-oh, what the
here
fuck is
we
going on?
go,
Oh,
and it's
shit.
Nika sprawling out with Scary D. Argus chasing down the backline of the Scarabs. Oh no! Scary
Uh-oh.
D's in the bat out of hell! And he's got to get out of hell now
They're
because the Oni
folding.
Warriors have got
Woo!
damage in spades. Sanford Soccer is low as well. And the Oni Warriors in a much better health state. Still have a Scarab's Blessing. Snipes are up from Netrioid. They'll hit Dardes. They hit hard, but they're only hitting the shield.
And Dardes sustains through.
Snoopy
all
got some
of
good
it.
poke there.
Oni Warriors reset
They're
the
healing
fire.
up. They're healing up. Ooh, they're healing up, guys. They're healing up. Oh, they have more health. Now they have more health.
The
Now they have
Solar
more health.
Scarabs, they've got healing. Hurrywind should be able to resustain.
Bro, imagine if the
this
game just ended right
Fire
there.
Giant pulled.
By the Scarabs?
And it's going slow.
By the Scarabs, are they baiting in the Oni
Oh.
Warriors? They might be. Sanford Soccer's been bursted. But that's by Dardes. Hasn't been killed. Oh, and Scarab's Blessing. It's on Cubo Fred. Big cooldown. Gone from the Oni Warriors.
Heal up,
First
heal
forced
up,
by
heal up.
Sanford Soccer.
They got
He
the
is
sustain.
playing with
Heal up,
fire,
boys.
Jumping in like that. But all 10 live yet again, and the enhanced Fire Giant awaits here in Game 4.
The instinct from Neoma knows for a fact Cubo Fred doesn't have beads, knows for a fact that Scarab's Blessing is required, won't leave it up to the kill threshold instead. Decides to use it just for the cleanse. Sanford Soccer able to keep this knife's edge sharp, razor sharp, between these two teams, walking the tightrope between Worlds and a Game 5. The Oni Warriors, they haven't had an opportunity to reset. Cubo Fred playing with low mana here. If the fight goes long, and these Fire Giants have gone long, we could be looking at an Naja. No meditation on either side means this is what you're working with. Only difference is, seems to me the Oni Warriors playing with a bit of confidence, starting to step forward. Neither team, you can't pull it if you're the Oni Warriors. You can't pull it if you're the Solar Scarabs. It's who's getting a pick and who's getting it first. Breastplate of Valor starting to show its value for Neoma. That Scarab's Blessing nearly back up.
Oni Warriors do pull it. I was going to ask, eventually you got to break this, and one of the junglers, somebody's got to take a different route and try to catch the opposing team off guard. Who is that going to be? Is it going to be Sanford Soccer rotating all the way through the jungle? Maybe
I can
Cubo
see.
Fred finds a roundabout path.
I can
There's such
see
good
Sam
ward
getting
coverage
blown
from
up
the
whenever he
Scarabs.
goes in, and they
only
lose the game from
opportunity is
that.
really around
That's
the
what I can
backside of
see.
the Fire Giant pit. And so nobody from the Oni Warriors, whether it be right up the middle or around.
I
to the
don't
left,
see how the Scarabs can
you're able to see
really
it through unless you somehow make your way through the
do
lane.
something in this fight unless they catch someone off a pole.
Nika has teleport. Has not mattered
Snoopy's got to go
yet,
big.
But if Nika plays a bit more aggressively, is able to pull a cooldown, needs to go reset, he'll be able to get back into the fight faster. Could be used to force a hand on a split push later on, but you want to be here with your team right now. Plenty of sustain for both squads as well that we've seen top off some of those health
Yes, I don't know.
bars
This is tough. It's very
Drake
tough.
Rush or a Royal
Both
Assault.
comps are not easy to do
With
anything.
the opposing squads, Neoma steps forward.
Snoopy just got to get a nice combo
Fire
off
Giant
to
pulled now
start
by
the fight, I
Oni
think, is the
Warriors.
best way.
A true pull or just testing the reaction time of the Scarab. Scary D, he's been sashed. Royal Assault has put him down to a third HP, and Cubo Fred looking for the follow-up. A couple bubbles off of the Solar
Look at
Scarab.
Sam.
Fred, what the
Is
fuck?
behind the Fire Giant pit. Netrioid takes the full
Yo, what was
brunt
that
of
by
the
Snoopy?
Takes the
That's
full
the first.
brunt of the Oni Warriors.
What the
And now
fuck
it's
did
heavily
Snoopy
offensive
just
in.
do,
Onto the
bro?
stun. Cubo Fred deletes Snoopy. Nika on a double.
What the
Call them 1 minute
fuck?
timers. Oni Warriors pick off 3.
But there's still two standing. Sanford Soccer access to the
Yo,
ultimate, but
what?
you cannot defend this Fire Giant. Step up and die, lose the game. Solar Scarabs, they're willing to try.
Magic! No, Oni Warriors get the FG. Is this now a game-ending roll of the dice? Vote might end
Yo,
the game on a
what?
killing spree. Vote might end the year of the Solar Scarabs on a killing spree. It's been ridiculous
Yo,
here in
what?
Game 4.
Snoopy,
Is that
huh?
the last turn we've got?
Cubo Fred just does so much in the last team fight, needs to keep it up
Ash
here.
K, thanks for the
Solar
prime.
Scarabs, you're so far
Holy
off the
shit, I'm so
respawn. The Oni Warriors,
confused.
they're healthy and they're strong.
Mifflin, that might just be it. From the SPL play-ins to the SWC group stages, the Oni Warriors have had it all to do, and they're going back to Worlds.
A congratulatory hug for the Oni Warriors in the booth and a well-earned